Good evening, Brian. It's Thursday, and that means it's time for a Thursday top 5. So today I want to talk about my top 5 favorite emoticons. I'm not really sure what to call these. They're like pre-emojis. They're the things that you make with actual characters on the keyboard before we actually had the pictures that emojis were. I think they're called emoticons or whatever, those things. You know what I'm talking about. My top 5 favorite those. Now you might be wondering, first off, why do those even matter? Why is it important? We have emojis now, which are much more common, and that is very true. However, one big problem with emoji is that while the kinds of emoji are standardized, there's actually a group that organizes that. The way they display is not standardized. So the way that an emoji displays on my iPhone might not be the same way that that same emoji displays on somebody's Android phone. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about my top 5 favorite ones of those emoticons or text faces, whatever we're going to call them. Probably my number 5 pick is the standard generic just parenthesis or colon with a parenthesis. I don't know that there's any way for me to overlay that on the video. I tried. It doesn't seem like iMovie has any way to add text to a video, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a colon and a closed parenthesis. I like that one. It's a very good basic smiley. I probably use it very, very often for just standard like smiling or good or happy, those kinds of feelings. And I'll get a little bit more to one other reason why I like these in a second. But that one is generally used in the mood of being good or happy or fun, or you know, when you need to show that that's how you feel about something. My number 4 spot would be the colon with a vertical bar right next to it. I like that one a lot because it sort of looks like an awkward smiley face. I use it a lot when the thing that is being said or reacted to is awkward, or if you're apologetic about something like, oh, I forgot to do the dishes, womp, that face. Or like, are you kidding? They really did that. I can't believe they said that. It shows those kinds of emotions. So that's one that I use pretty often. The number 3 spot is probably the semicolon and the closed parenthesis. This is the winking smiley face. It's nice. It's especially good at being what an emoticon is supposed to be, in that it shows when you're silly or shows it when you're joking. I guess I'll go ahead and take this moment to talk about one of the other reasons why I like these a lot is that texting sometimes it's really hard to get emotion into it. You don't have the vocal intonation and prosody and visual cues that you have when you're talking to someone. So a lot of times subtleties can get lost via texting, and I find that these emoticons are a really good way to incorporate that back into texting. It seems a little bit silly to use smiley faces all the time, but it's a nice way to show like, hey, I'm kidding with this thing. The way that I phrased it could be misinterpreted, so I want to clearly throw in this marker like, hey, this is a joke. I am joking about this thing. I am not being serious. And the winking smiley face is one that I use that a lot with to show like, hey, I'm joking, because a lot of times the same sentence could seem not joking just based on text messages. So I feel like emoticons are in general a really good way to impart those emotional subtleties that you lose, those nuances that you lose when you're texting. Okay, so back to the order. Number 2 spot is probably the colon and the capital D. I use this one a lot. It's like a super excited smile, like really excited. I use it when I'm really happy about something, really excited, or in other situations like that. And then probably my number 1 most used favorite smiley is the colon and the closed bracket. I think you know what I'm talking about. I'll put all these in the description, but I use that one most often when I am shyly excited about something. A good example is if somebody is like, hey Matt, you're really digging out to this Taylor Swift music? Are you kidding me? And I'm like, yep, I am. That kind of face. That's what I use it for a lot. So I think that's the end of this video, Brian. I hope that you enjoyed it, but I hope that it seemed not boring, and I hope that it was interesting and fun, and that you got something out of it and it made you smile. I'd love to hear, do you use those text emoticons often, or do you use emojis instead, or do you not use either one? Do you like one more than the other? Like, what are your thoughts about all this? I'd love to hear them. I hope you're having a good night, Brian, and I look forward to your video tomorrow on Friday. See you then.